This is Bharat FM.
बजेगा भारत, झूमेगा भारत.
ये है भारत FM.
बजेगा भारत, झूमेगा भारत.
Namaskar, Sat Sri Akal, welcome and adab. You are listening to Bharat FM, a one-of-its-kind, multilingual, eclectic provider of entertainment, information and news to Indian Americans. Headquartered in Cincinnati, Ohio, Bharat FM airs shows out of Cincinnati, Chicago and Phoenix. We take pleasure in our ability to cater to your bhakti, chusti, sphurti, shakti and masti needs with our audio and visual shows. Check out bharatfm.com for our online program schedule and archives. I'm sure the content will definitely tickle your senses. Tune in via the 24-hour web streaming on bharatfm.com or via the Bharat FM app. More information can be procured at 513-488-5070.
दोस्तों नमस्कार, आदाब, सत श्री अकाल, वड़क्कम, वेलकम आप सभी को भारत एफएम के इस कार्यक्रम में जिसका के नाम है रूबरू में तहे दिल से स्वागत है। मैं हूं आपका दोस्त और आपका होस्ट आशीष झा। तो दोस्तों आज हम जिनसे रूबरू हो रहे हैं उनका नाम है एमिल बार एंड रोहन डिसूजा। They are involved with a company called Full Bloom Marketing. Now, Full Bloom Marketing is a tech consultancy that was started by Emil and Rohan last year to digitize local business and help tell their stories online. So with that, I would like to welcome Rohan and Emil. Hello, Rohan. Hello, Emil.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome to the show, Rubaru. And thank you very much for coming here and sharing your story with our listeners and viewers.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Thank you, Ashish. Thank you. Thank you. So let's start with Rohan first. Rohan, we would like to know a little bit about you first, about your journey so far. Sure. Give us a brief introduction to our viewers about that.
Sure. I don't know where to start, but so I'm a recent graduate from the University of Cincinnati. When I say recent, it's been about 2 years now. Time flies. I'm feeling very old. So after I graduated, I actually got a job at Apple. So I've been working there in the retail store here in Cincinnati. And I've known Emil since he was about 12 years old. We actually connected playing tennis. So we have mutual passions. And so Emil is very ambitious and wants to do big things. And so we decided there was room for us to work together and create this company, Full Bloom. So about last year in March, we met up and we talked about our goals and what we want to do later on in our life. And this is the prime time for us. We're young, we're energetic, we're athletic, we have debit cards, we have room to take risks.
You are absolutely correct. Yes, you do.
We have a lot of room to take risks, and so this is the best time to do that. And we decided to do that around March of last year, and we created this company, Full Bloom, to really kind of not only like highlight what we already know in our skill set, but to learn a lot along the way. And that's how we started Full Bloom officially in May of last year.
Okay, so we will come back to that and we will know a little bit more about Full Bloom. But before that, I would like to have Emil say a little bit about himself and about his journey so far. I know you guys are young. You have a very short journey, but looks like you have big dreams, and we will talk about your dreams. So, but still, let us know a little bit about yourself, Emil.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm even younger than Rohan. I'm actually still a college student. I entered just in the fall into university. So we're definitely on the younger side there. And Full Bloom I brought the idea to Rohan because I've always looked up to Rohan almost as, not really a big brother, but sort of a little bit, someone a little bit older I could turn to advice. He always had this just great creative mind in a way that I didn't see it. So in high school, I spent a lot of time working with nonprofits. I worked with Rohan's father, Harold D'Souza, when we went to the White House, the U.S. White House Advisory Council, and those things. I worked with blood cancer survivors. I worked with a few nonprofits, and we saw that the best way that they raised funds was through social media. That was the way that they raised almost 50% of their funds, especially from young people. So that I sort of saw some potential to do this with businesses, especially that weren't even yet on social media, or businesses in the area. So I would put on this actually exact same suit jacket, I think when I was 16, 17, and I would walk just every day. I hadn't had my car yet. I would walk to businesses and I would ask them. And the question that we got was yes. We didn't, get laughed at or say no. We did a lot of things. We do website building. We do, search engine optimization. But the things that businesses seemed really interested and trusted us with was social media. They trusted young people to understand social media. So once that started taking off, I went to Rohan. I said, I think I have something here.
Okay.
And it just went off from there.
All right. So now let's talk a little bit about Full Bloom. And as you mentioned that you came up with this idea and you have been involved with nonprofit organizations right from your high school days.
Right.
How did, at that young age, getting associated with nonprofit organization, those things are really, during high school, you are thinking about different things, right? and you thought about getting associated with nonprofit organization and continuing your passion with that. What is the story behind you getting associated with those kind of things? Is there some inspiration that you get from someone that you would like to talk about?
So to sort of address the first thing you said, ironically, I did spend my high school thinking about those things, a lot of my high school years thinking about those things, which set me apart from my peers, which is part of why Rohan and I are such good friends, because we always felt like he understood me and he felt like understood me more than potentially people my age, just because I was interested in those things. Not saying that I wasn't worried about sports and girls and all of the other things that I was worried about, but that was part of my priority. And the real reason I'd say I got involved in nonprofits is I was lucky enough to have some very, very fortunate mentors. And more importantly, I wanted to do things in high school. I wanted to run a business. I wanted to do things. And if you went to a company, they would laugh at you and say, go to college and then come back. If you went to a nonprofit, they said, sure, we're working for free. We have all of this responsibility. So just the more I did it, the more I liked doing it, the more I liked helping people. It was really cool to see, as a 14, 15-year-old, you're making business strategy and it's having an effect. You're raising money to help people. And that's just where that came from.
All right. So now the next question is for Rohan. Rohan, you are already working with Apple, and working for Apple itself is a big deal. So you're already there, kind of settled. And then Emil comes to you and talks to you about this joint venture. What was through your mind, and maybe what is going through your mind even now? we would like to know that.
Yeah. Just to touch on the last point that you made about nonprofit work, I've been volunteering at local in the local community since I was maybe 8 or 9, even younger, and so that environment there was not a lot of pressure there. You're not really responsible for a lot of things, but the actions you do can make a big difference. And so since then, it's always been part of, I guess, my value system and my moral system is to give back to the community and donate time, because that time always comes back to you, and what you give will come back with interest.
And I kind of know where that comes from because I know your dad. So,
yeah.
So
I've had a good teacher my whole life. Yes.
Right. So now to the next question that I asked.
Yes. Yeah. So, let's if we flash back around what was going on of March of last year, I don't think COVID had become as big as it was last year. This was previous to that, when Emil and I had met and we were talking about Emil does not enjoy a structural educational system. He's very outside of the box, and me as well. But I went through it and I graduated at this point, and I had already started working at Apple and I was building out my network. And we met to talk about this, and I already had started I had started 2 e-commerce stores the year before. Up till then, in February, I was dabbling in that, and so I had some knowledge that Emil didn't have, and the creative side that Emil didn't have, and Emil has that very good what's the word, execution and timeline and management that I also need, and so we balance each other out really well, and so we had a very high, like, detailed conversation about how can we operate together. And a lot of times when you read online and you see these businesses that are started, they say that don't get into business with friends, and so we address that right away. Like, we want to make sure that we stay focused on the goals that we have and what we want to do through this entity that is Full Bloom, and not as individual people. Yes, we have our individual goals, but we also have to think about Full Bloom at the end of the day and what we can do through this business and how we can best help customers and local businesses. And so what was going on in my head at the time was, wow, this is going to be a lot of work, but I'm very excited. But at the same time, that was very exciting because it gave me a lot of responsibility to put on myself, and then also teach myself new things. And that's one of the things I really enjoy about life is approaching problems from different angles and approaching problems without enough knowledge, and how to overcome those with the limited information that we have at a given time.
Awesome. All right, Emil. So next question for you. What was that? Can you give us a detailed description about how did you come up with, okay, this is what I'm going to go and talk with Rohan? What was the detailed discussion that you had with Rohan about what was going on? Like, what is your business plan? What are you thinking? Can you just share that with us as well?
Well, hopefully none of your competitors are watching. It started out as I think I hinted at last time. I spoke to some businesses. I was getting some positive feedback. At that time, I knew that there was something there. I knew that if we worked on it, this would be an idea that would succeed. It wouldn't be, a dead idea. And I think I started out by asking Rohan. We went and got coffee, and I think we actually ended up just asking Rohan for advice. What would you do? Okay. And it just turned into a great conversation. And I think we were there an hour and a half longer than we planned. Usually, we talk for half an hour. We were just there and we were talking, and it just sort of clicked, I think, for both of us at the same time.
Okay. So in that case, tell us about what is Full Bloom now. I mean, either of you, it doesn't matter who wants to take that.
Well, the first thing we'd like to highlight and how we did it. From the first day that Full Bloom was built, we mentioned that nonprofit, how important that is to us. We created 2 parts of Full Bloom. We created a for-profit division, and we have a nonprofit division.
Nice. Okay.
For every 1 hour of work that our for-profit division does, our nonprofit division also does an hour of free work. So we donate websites, we help nonprofits with their social media, we help them with their IT services, and we did all of that from the minute we started Full Bloom. And that was very important when we sat down and talked and we decided to do that.
Okay. So what exactly does Full Bloom do? How do you help businesses? What exactly are you doing? When you go to a business, what are you telling them? This is where we can help you. Just so that our somebody who is a layman who might not understand the details, if they want to know about your business, how will you go to them and what will you talk to them?
Well, we say 2 things. First, we get results. It's that simple in the sense that social media, when you pay for a billboard, you know how many people are going to see it and you know what you're paying. And that's a very old school type of marketing of reach. With social media, you get a post, you can get 1,500 people viewing it. The next week you get 5,000 people viewing it. People are resharing, they're liking, they're retweeting, they're mentioning it to their friends. You have exponential growth with social media. Mm-hmm. So you might be able to get 20, 30 times more people looking at your content than on a billboard for the same price.
Okay.
What we actually do, we tell businesses that we tell their stories. That's really what we're about. We don't use any templates or, sort of just fake images online and any of that, like many other social media companies. Rohan and I go to every business we work with. We take our own photos. We take our own videos with our cameras. We interview the owners. And really what we do on social media is we tell their story. We say that we're not looking for marketing. We're going to explain why you started, why you're doing what you're doing. We're going to help you connect with people instead of just shouting at them that you have a sale next weekend. We're doing a little bit more.
Okay, so is it that it is just two of you right now as an employee of the organization, or do you have a team?
We have a team.
We have a team. Yeah, we have a team. I mean, sometimes we have situations where I need to ask some of my friends who have done something similar to this, and so we're creating a board of advisors right now. We have a group of interns that assist us with some of our nonprofit work as well, and we're getting ready to scale up right now and kind of build out. Going back to the last point as well, one of our key differentiators in what we do inside social media and how we present these things is it's all data driven, and so right now in the digital world, data is a piece of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do you get results, and how do you capitalize on the data that is available to then drive results? That's where we come in and use our analytics to really open up the reach that these local businesses can get to.
So basically, just to recapture whatever I have understood, let me tell you what I have understood, is basically you go to businesses who don't have enough social media presence, and you help them grow their business by increasing their reach out there on the social media and helping them market their organization, their product on social media in a very efficient way and quicker. Am I right with that statement?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my next question is, how is Full Bloom different from other competitors that you might have there?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Rohan, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah. So this is something that this is what I just touched on. So the data analytics side, a lot of other competition is just going to come in and say, hey, we're going to take over your social. We'll come up with a social media plan. We'll have a posting schedule, et cetera, and they'll post. And yes, they'll get engagement and content, but it's not data driven anymore. It's just content driven. And so how we differentiate here is not only are we content driven, but we're data driven, and we're always looking to optimize our reach for our customers. At the end of the day, it's not about how well Full Bloom is doing, it's how well our clients are doing.
Absolutely.
And so that's exactly where Emil, like when we started, it's like, hey, like, yeah, we're doing this for ourselves, but we're a service at the end of the day. And so we have to do what's best for the people that we're approaching, because it's about that relationship that we're building with our clients. And we know that those relationships are more important than the business at the end of the day. We want to do what's best for the people that we can get in contact with.
Okay. So
No, go ahead. On a more specific note, some of the more obvious differences are that nonprofit side. You don't see businesses doing that. You don't see them. And if you do, you'll see them offer a discounted rate for nonprofits, or you see them donate, a portion of their earnings to nonprofits. We are 50% for profit, 50% nonprofit. We do everything for completely free. We never charge them $1. If there's any additional costs, we actually absorb the costs. We pay for it to make that happen for them. And the other thing is, if you look at marketing agencies, we're about 15 years younger than people. And that's who a lot of businesses are trying to reach on social media. They're trying to reach younger customers. They're trying to reach recent graduates like Rohan, young professionals that have some money to spend. They're trying to reach people like us. And we're just, we're not 45 years old and doing this. And that's one of the biggest differences, but that's one that sometimes people ignore. And they come in and we go, yeah, we grew up with this. We've been doing this for the last 10 years. This is like a second language to us.
That's right. Uh-huh. So my next question would be like expenses. I mean, I'm pretty sure that there is a lot of investment that is needed to start something like this. How are you guys managing that?
So I mean, so Emil and I have already expensed most of the year, or kind of since we started, we had a budget list and expense list, and as we began, you know, as we began getting clients and doing more work, we realized that, hey, we had really miscalculated, which happens. It happens often, and it's okay. We kind of reoriented ourselves, and we're right now we're doing really well with our budget and our expenses. At the beginning, Emil and I had to invest a decent amount of money to get everything started. Actually, the day after we met, that coffee day that we had where we were talking about we didn't even have a name for Full Bloom at the time. Later, I think we came up with it later that day, and then I filed the LLC that evening. So it happened really fast. And when Emil and I are the type of people that, like, when we decide on something, we'll just execute on it, and the problems will come along the way, but we'll ultimately reach that goal. And so we know that what we're doing is valuable, and we know that it means a lot, not just to our customers and to our clients, and the expenses just kind of one step along the way to help people along the way.
Okay. So now one curiosity that I have, when you go to a business, how do you decide whether you should put this effort on the profit side or the non-profit side? Is it based on the organization, that if the organization is non-profit, by default, your work is non-profit, it's going into that bucket? Or how do you make that differentiation?
So our nonprofit side is thriving in the sense that we have a wait list of nonprofits, waiting to work with us. Of course, because we're offering a free service and we're doing good work for them.
Exactly. That's exactly what my point was. Right?
Yeah, a lot of times they find us. So it's more so about finding those small businesses and finding people willing to help us expand our nonprofit side, where we sort of have to spend the most energy. If we had a multi-million-dollar nonprofit and they wanted their help specifically, targeting young people through social media, of course, we would sort of view them as a client and we could figure something out. But a lot of what we've been working with on the nonprofit side are nonprofits that don't have a nice website, that want a website redone, nonprofits that aren't even on social media, that want help getting on there. So they've been smaller, and there's been a lot of interest on that side.
Right. So for the profit side, how do you convince a business that what you are planning or what you are making happen for them is actually going to work? How does your cost structure actually work? I mean, how do you charge your customer when you go on the profit side?
So the truth is, social media is a fickle creature, and we know what we're doing, but at the same time, we can't say you'll reach this many people at this time.
Exactly. Right.
So sometimes, and if we did, sometimes we look really great, and sometimes we look really bad. So what we do is we talk about a minimum price. Usually it's around $300 a month, depending on the size of the business. Sometimes it goes up to $500. It's usually $300 to $500 a month. And then, which, just to put in a market average rate for social media businesses, is $1,000 a month. So we're charging anywhere between 70 to 50% off. And what we do is we set some goals. We say, how much are you willing to pay? How much would we have to get? So if we can double your followers, and if we can double your engagement rate, you'll pay us $500 a month once we get to that. So we really just set those performance goals that are aligned with their strategy, and we figure out something that would work. If you're getting 300 more customers into your store, you have no problem paying us an extra couple $100 a month. But let us get those customers into your store first.
Right.
So we try to minimize the risk on that end.
Okay. So the next question I have is, like, have you come across a situation where you have gone to the business and they might not have any presence on the social media, and you have actually shown them the benefits of having your presence on social media, and they're like, we are good, we don't care, we don't need all that. Have you come across that situation?
All the time. I think that's...
And how are convincing those kind of people that, hey, we know for sure that this will work? And how has that discussion or that engagement been?
Well, I think that you have to look at it in terms of when the first printing press came out, people complained. And they said that it was worse than writing with me. When the first, car came out, people complained and they said they were noisier and smellier than horses, and the roads weren't big enough. If you look at Tesla, when Tesla came out, they said, why would you have a car that's electric where you charge it? You can't go to the store with batteries. We are innovative, and we're going through a marketing change where businesses are going on social media. There will be businesses that will decide, no, we don't want to change. We don't want to adapt. There were businesses that refused to build a website, right?
Exactly.
And those businesses ended up just not going. So that's sort of how we position it. And if they're not interested, that's okay. That's part of what we do. We just want to sort of show them that we're not trying to sell them a billboard. We're trying to sell them a totally new way of marketing. We're trying to get them on the digital revolution. And that's what we do.
Awesome. So now my next question is, have you come across a situation where somebody has said, first prove it and then we'll pay you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. The short of it is,
do you take that challenge?
Absolutely. Especially when we started, where was our track record when we started, right? So with our first few clients, we said, we know what we're doing. Let us help you. And some of these clients didn't have social, and some of them did. And we said, let's take over, and our results will speak for themselves, and then we'll talk next steps afterwards. And so yes, we've done that because we had to, but we also are very confident in what we're able to accomplish.
Awesome. So when you say social media, what all does it cover?
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn. Am I missing anything, Emil?
YouTube.
Snapchat.
YouTube, Snapchat. Yeah. So it comes down to what's best for the client and how you can best get reach, right? So some businesses are not going to have a Twitter. They're not going to get a lot of engagement through Twitter. Same thing with YouTube. Maybe it's not content that you can really film. Maybe it's something that needs to be photographed and shared that way. If it's shorthand form, just short posts and photos, then we're gonna look at different options for you. And that's where we come in, and we make sure that the plan we have for you is very specialized to your needs and is going to serve your best interests.
Okay. So if we talk about numbers, can you share a little bit about your journey so far? You said you started in May, right? Last year. So it has been like what now, about 9 months. So can you share your journey so far? What were your numbers in May and what are your numbers now?
The truth is
public information, right? There is nothing confidential about it. Okay.
No, we're open to share. The truth is, our numbers are different than they were in May. They're not quite as different as we'd like them to be, always. Right now, we're meeting with 5 businesses next week. And depending on how those meetings go, it would be a very different conversation to say that. But we're also, for the first time, we started our own Instagram and Facebook to get our name out there. We just started that actually a few hours ago. So if all of the viewers want to watch some interesting content, we'll share that at the end. We can share our Facebook name and our Instagram name. We've started going on shows like this and speaking a little bit more about what we're doing. But we started out making negative dollars a month. That's just how it is with all of the expenses and everything that we started. And now we have 4 or 5 clients, I believe, and we're charging them $500 a month each.
And that covers your monthly expenses? So you're at least, if you're not in green, at least you're not in red?
We're in the green now. We're in the green.
That's awesome. That's very good news.
We're not buying a Porsche anytime soon. But at the same time, we're not losing money anymore. We have people that are promoting us in the community. What we want to see is that exponential growth. Recently, we got a meeting with Grader's Ice Cream in Cincinnati, and they're famously known for not meeting with people. So people are listening to us. On our board of advisors, we have the associate dean of the business school at Miami, which is the best ranked business school in Ohio. So the dean is sitting on our board and he's talking to people for us. And he's saying, listen to them, talk to them. So now that we have results, we have numbers to show. In terms of numbers, as we mentioned, our best client, since we started 6 months ago for them, they are up 3,000%. On
3,000%.
3,000%. So now we have numbers. We know what we're doing a little bit. And so now what we want to do is focus on bringing more people in, bringing in more employees and getting more businesses so that it's less Rohan and I doing all the profit side and more Rohan and I working with clients and having a team that handles a little bit more of the actual daily work.
Okay. So do you have a physical location somewhere over here in Cincinnati?
We have a car. Everything is virtual. We'll meet clients where it's best for them. We've never really seen the point of investing in a conference room or an office. Yes, if we needed to, we can do that. But it's easier for us to get in the car with our cameras, go to there. We have to see everything, take pictures of everything on the inside, talk to them sort of face to face, and then sort of work with them there that way.
Very, very critical question. Rohan is a full-time employee with Apple. You are a full-time student at Miami. Where do you find time?
I don't.
Yeah, Emil doesn't sleep. I do all the sleeping for both of us.
No, I was going to say that usually you have to meet businesses during the weekdays, during the business time. I mean, I can understand if you are doing this after school or after work, but then are people open to doing that with you guys, meeting after school or after work? Or do you somehow manage during the day? I'm just curious to know what's going on.
Yeah.
There's some stories. Come on.
We have dynamic schedules in the sense that we'll make it work. We'll move our schedule around to make it work because this is very important to us. School is important, work is important, but also what we're doing together means a lot to us, and what we can do for other people. That's our schedules are a little jam-packed, and Emil is about 45 minutes away, and we'll have virtual meetings every day, maybe for an hour to 2 hours. Somehow we find the time and we make it work. If that means we're taking a meeting at 6 a.m. or we're staying up till 12 or 2 to get something done, that's what we're doing.
Awesome. Now, the next question I have is like, how do you guys decide? How do you guys find a business that might need help?
The biggest thing is good word of mouth. As I said before, I think I told the story. It used to be me walking into businesses and saying,
But even then, how are you identifying those businesses that this is the business that might need help with the social media?
I could walk to them because I didn't have a car. But more realistically, now that we again have those results, we found our clients are our biggest advocates. That's why we didn't have a Facebook or Instagram before. Just because we had clients, and the way we were getting them is they said these young people, they were so great to work with, they did so much for us, and they would recommend us to someone else, and they would call us. And we found that with all of our clients, they're our biggest advocates in the community. So it's been able to really doing good work. I think it was for even, our very first client, and it sort of just followed after that. We got 2 more after that and more after that. But it's always been the people we've helped that have helped us the most in turn.
Right. So when you say local business, are you talking only about businesses in this area in Cincinnati or local business anywhere in the globe, on the globe?
So we recently have the capabilities now to branch out and do businesses anywhere in America with virtual meetings, with more. Previously, we focused on Cincinnati, Ohio. Now we're meeting with some businesses in my college town in Oxford, Ohio. We've spoken to 1 or 2 people in Columbus. We envision us as becoming experts at social media marketing, and more specifically at young people in social media marketing. We want brands like Wendy's. We even want multinational corporations to come to Cincinnati, Ohio, to talk to us about how can they get people from the ages of 18 to 25 with social media to interact with the brand. That's sort of our vision 5 years from now, and that's what we're trying to build.
So that's an interesting question. So your focus is mainly on the age group of 18 to 25. Is that your segment where you are trying to attract customers in that age range? Or?
That's our segment for consulting. So if you already have a social media plan, if you're paying, you have a marketing professional, you have like graders, you have 50 employees that are just working on the marketing, that's where we kind of come in, and that's where we can help you. What we've done before and what you do, not consulting. If we're managing your social media exclusively, we're going to target who's best for your business. And probably the people willing to spend money are not going to be 18 to 25 necessarily.
Yes.
We love to work with a business that way, but when we're working with clothing stores, jewelry stores, grocery stores, we're targeting an older customers, and that's why we're using Facebook. We're using Instagram as opposed to Snapchat and TikTok, but we have the capabilities to do both.
Okay. So now tell me one thing. Usually the local businesses, they don't care about the global reach because their business is local. But when you talk about social media, the reach is global. So how are you helping these local businesses understand that even though the reach is global, it is going to help you locally? How do you have that conversation with them?
Targeting. The reach is global on social media if they want it to be. And again, we work with driving sales. We're not necessarily, yes, we could get more likes and followers for our pages. This is something we could do. That's not the only way to measure success. If your likes are coming from Siberia, that's not going to help you if you only sell to the Cincinnati, Ohio community.
Exactly my point, right?
So we have geolocation techniques, we have techniques, and actually our strategies, what we do is in terms of followers, comments we attract, all the social medias will give you a map of where your customers are. And about 90% of our followers on average across our accounts are in the areas that the business operates and the areas that the business can deliver results.
Okay. Well, I think I have asked you everything that I could think of, but if there is something that I'm missing, please feel free to talk a little bit more about that and help our viewers understand about your business a little more if I have missed anything.
Rohan, do you have?
I mean, just to summarize, I guess, we're Full Bloom. I'm Rohan.
I'm Emil. Go ahead and follow us, Full Bloom Marketing and Solutions. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, especially if you're listening and you don't own a business necessarily, or you're not, you want to learn a little bit more about us. We're always willing to talk with you, or where we'll or my phone number is on the site. It's my personal phone number. I will pick up the phone and talk with you. The emails go straight to our phones. And if you're just interested in finding out about us, what we want to do with our social media is we're not going to use it to market. We're just going to be very honest. We're going to say, Rohan and I were tired today. This is a picture of us drinking coffee. But that's how it is. We sort of show the inner scenes. We'll show videos of how we edit videos and how we take photos. So we just want to tell stories for businesses, and that starts with our business.
Wow. Awesome. Yes. Anything from you, Rohan?
Well, thank you to Curry's and Manan Uncle and Hriday Raval, Manan Raval, and Yushish Bhai. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rohan and Emil. This was really a wonderful conversation, at least for me. I'm pretty sure even our listeners and viewers would have enjoyed it to know more about what wonderful work you guys are doing. And as you had mentioned, non-profit organizations are going to just be behind you. We're doing it for free. And we all at Bharat FM wish you good luck. And we hope that all your dreams come true and the wonderful strategy that you have come true as well. So with that, thank you very much for coming on Rubaru and on Bharat FM. You have a wonderful rest of the weekend and enjoy your Valentine's Day. I'm pretty sure you guys are excited about that too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye. Yeah.
Namaskar, Sat Sri Akal, welcome and adab. You are listening to Bharat FM, a one-of-its-kind, multilingual, eclectic provider of entertainment, information and news to Indian Americans. Headquartered in Cincinnati, Ohio, Bharat FM airs shows out of Cincinnati, Chicago and Phoenix. We take pleasure in our ability to cater to your bhakti, chusti, sphurti, shakti and masti needs with our audio and visual shows. Check out bharatfm.com for our online program schedule and archives. I'm sure the content will definitely tickle your senses. Tune in via the 24-hour web streaming on bharatfm.com or via the Bharat FM app. More information can be procured at 513-488-5070.
This is Bharat FM.
बजेगा भारत झूमेगा भारत.
ये है भारत FM.
बजेगा भारत झूमेगा